Hello everyone, I am Piyush Goyal and I welcome you to Voxcel's YouTube channel. In this video, we will discuss about Cambridge IELTS Academic Book 19th second test reading passage 2. So we have already discussed reading passage 1 in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it after watching this video. So without further ado, let's start. So the passage we are dealing with today is athletes and stress. So if you have watched my previous videos, you will know why we read our title of passage. Because, yes, give me the answer. Good. Because it helps us to activate our vocabulary, channel our vocabulary. Though the information we may think of may not be given in the paragraph or it may be given in the paragraph, but it helps us to think in this particular way or in this particular line. So from the paragraph, or sorry, from the title, it is clear that this paragraph will deal with athletes and their stress levels. So we all are stressed in our day-to-day life, but in this paragraph it may be or may not be talking about athletes and their stress levels. There may be comparisons with common man, there may not be comparisons with the common man, so we will get to know when we will read the paragraph. But after reading the title, what should we do is we should go straight to the question sets and see what kind of questions we have to deal with or we have to solve. So they are like first set from questions 14 to 18. So we have to find this is a sorry, this is our type. Paragraph contains information, so we have to write A, B, C in front of them. And the important thing to note here is there is a note that you may use any letter more than once. So I have already told you, when you are given this particular instruction, 99.9999% of the times you will have to use a particular alphabet more than once. But there's like once in a blue moon, like rare of rare cases, you may not have to write more than one letter, a letter more than once. So we know. And then we have questions number 19 to 22. In this second set we have to write blanks, and our instruction word says we should write one word only, no more than one word. Okay, it's very important to follow the instruction words. If you write two or more words, your answer will be marked as incorrect, even though the one word or one of the two or three words that you have written may be correct. Okay, then we have questions from 23 to 23 and 24, and we have to pick two alphabets from here. Okay, and similarly in 25 and 26 we have to pick two letters, A to E. Okay, so we have questions here. It is also written that there are questions 14 to 26. Okay, let me change the color. Let me do this. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, I have already told you the ways to solve reading. What we can do is, like, while reading paragraphs, we can look at the first question of each set, or in this particular case with statement of these questions, and when we find these words we will go to these questions and solve them, and then go to the next paragraph. But it may be overwhelming for some students. I have solved previous videos according to that, some of the previous videos, and in this video we're gonna take it easy. We will do one question at a time, or one set of questions at a time. So how to solve this particular set? What we're gonna do is, there are like two options. Either you can start from paragraph A, and then after reading the paragraph A you should match with every question whether the information of any question is in this paragraph or not. Or second way you can do is, find the smallest paragraph, and I believe it is the paragraph number A, and then read from that paragraph. So we will start from paragraph A, but before that we will read the questions and see any, like we will mark any important keywords. Reference to two chemical compounds which impact on performance. So we have to tell, or in whichever paragraph there will be mention of two chemical compounds, there may be the names may be given of those chemical compounds like X and Y. Okay, and they impact on performance, maybe positive or negative, but they impact on performance. 15th, examples of strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. So examples just means more than one example will be given of those strategies in which we can minimize the effect of stress. Okay, stress will be minimized by using those strategies, and there will be like two or three examples. Okay. 16, how a sports person. So a sports person, meaning to say there will be mention of one particular sports person, it may be male or female, accounted for their own experience of stress. So how means like in what way, okay, in what like the method in which this particular sports person they told about their experience of stress, maybe like in an interview or something like that, or maybe in an article in a newspaper. We have to find how, the way in which they accounted for, basically told us their experience of stress. 17th, study results indicating links between stress responses and performance. So there may be a study mentioned or research or something like that, and it indicates there is some link between stress responses, like the way we respond to stress, and our performance. So it may be positive link or negative link, so directly proportional, inversely proportional, these kind of words may be used. I'm not so sure about that. We will read together, then we will know what kind of words or how they are linked. 18th, mention of people who can influence how athletes perceive their responses. So there will be a mention of some people, or maybe a group of people, something like that. Those who can influence, but whom they are influencing athletes, how they perceive meaning to say see, observe their stress response. So whether they're how they're responding to their stress, so whatever the response is, how to view that response, whether to view it in a negative light or in a positive light. So there will be mention of those people who can influence these, like telling athletes that, for example, maybe telling athletes that feeling stressed is normal, or if you are feeling butterflies, it's normal, do not worry too much about that, it's like human nature, things like that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna read the paragraph A, and then we will see if any questions information is given. If not, then we will move to the next paragraph. Why? Because there are 5 questions and we have 6 paragraphs. Here it is also written 6 paragraphs, but because of this, so we are 99.9999% sure that one letter will be repeated. It may not be, but I am like moving forward with the assumption that the letter maybe will be repeated. So I will have 2 paragraphs which will not contain any answers, but again, do not be hell bent that every time it will happen. So it rarest of rare case, it may not happen. Okay, so you should have an open mind while doing reading. So paragraph A, it isn't easy being a professional athlete. Not only are the physical demands greater than most people could handle, athletes also face intense psychological pressure during competition. So, in this particular sentence, they are saying that it is not easy being an athlete because it's like physical demands are greater than most common men can handle, and they also face psychological pressure during competition. Like they have psychological pressure to win, okay, because if they won't win they will not be considered good players or things like that. So if I look at these questions, first, two chemical compounds, there is no mention of that. Examples of strategies of minimizing, no, up till now there is no mention of that. A sports person, there is no mention. There is no mention of links, and there is no mention of people who can influence something. So till now we don't have any answer. This is something that British tennis player Emma Raducanu. So if I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, so we'll just say Emma. So this particular person wrote about on social media following her withdrawal from 2021 Wimbledon tournament. So she wrote this incident of her withdrawing from 2021 Wimbledon tournament on social media. Though the young player had been doing well in tournament, so although she was doing well in tournament, she began having difficulty regulating her breathing and heart rate during a match. So what's the problem she faced? So she was having difficulty for while regulating her breathing and heart rate during a match, which she later attributed to the accumulation of excitement and buzz. And who were the culprit according to her? The excitement of the tournament and the buzz of the tournament were the main culprits. Because of them, her heartbeat increased. So if there is any like question, I will give you about 10 seconds to find if there is any answer or any question in this, and the time starts now. Okay, time's up. So let's read the questions together. Reference to two chemical compounds. Obviously, there is no mention of two chemicals. Examples of there is no mention of minimizing, and no not there is no mention of strategies or examples. How a sports person accounted for their own experience of stress? Yes, there is mention of this. So just let me write here. So the answer to this should be A. So where it is, how a sports person accounted for their own experience of stress. So this is the name of sports person Emma, and how on social media. So about her withdrawal, she mentioned it on social media. So this is our answer to question number 16. I hope it is clear. Let me just mark it completely. So after that, study results indicating link between, there is no study mention of study or results. So there is no mention of how athletes should see stress responses. So again, what we can do is we can read the first question of this particular set, this particular set, and this particular set. It will be beneficial. For example, let's just say here there is name written of Emma. Okay, so we know here is the name of Emma, but right now we will not do this. But if you want to do this, you can pause the video and you can mark the two options, but we will come to this later. Okay, you can pause this video now. Okay, and now we'll start with the previous set. Okay, now what we'll do is, we know A is the answer of only 16, so no other question is in A paragraph, so we will read the B paragraph. So what other thing you should do along with that is, when you are reading a paragraph, you should always try to mark important words like names, dates, name of persons, basically name of place, things like that. For athletes, some level of performance stress is almost unavoidable. So what are they saying is, for athletes, some stress level is unavoidable. So some stress unavoidable. But there are many different factors that dictate how people's minds and bodies respond to stressful events. So there are different factors that allow people to react differently or respond differently to same stressful events. Typically, stress is the result of exchange between two factors. So there is mention of two factors: demands and resources. An athlete may feel stressed about an event if they feel the demand on them are greater than they can handle. So they are saying that if athlete feels that the demand on his or her shoulder, or the weight on his or her shoulder is more than they can carry, obviously but they will feel stressed. Okay, These demands include the high level of physical and mental effort required to succeed, and also the athletes' concerns about the difficulty of the event, their chance of succeeding, and any potential dangers such as injury. So they are now referring to different kind of scenarios. Sorry about that. They are here referring different kind of scenarios that goes through an athlete's head. So what they are thinking about whether they can succeed, about the difficulty or level of the competition, or whether they are good enough to win the competition or not, or if they try too hard, will their bodies be able to handle that kind of pressure, or will their bodies come to any injury or things like that. So these kind of things are going in the head of athletes. Resources, on the other hand, are a person's ability to cope with these demands. So there are two factors here they have said. What are those? Demands and resources. So what these are the demands that the athletes face or feel, and these are about the resources are the person's ability to cope with these demands. These include factors such as competitors degree of confidence, how confident your competitor is, how much they believe they can control the situation's outcome, like if you are an athlete, how much you believe you can control the result, and whether they are looking forward to the event or not, or whether you are willing to like play or not, or you are just there because of the sake of it but not because you want to be there. So these things will also dictate your stress levels. So again, you know the drill. You will have roughly 10 seconds or so. So let's see if there is any answer, and if there is, tell me which one. And your time starts now. Okay, time's up. So now let's read together two chemical compounds which impact on performance. So if you have marked this, then sorry, this is the wrong answer. Why? Because here they have mentioned two factors, not two chemical compounds. So many students, what they can do is they will read two, like there is something about plural here, two things are mentioned here, two things are mentioned in the question, like here, and two things are mentioned here, so they can mark the answer. So if you have marked, be very careful. These are two different things. These are the reasons or factors of stress, and their question is asking about the two chemical compounds. So even if you have marked it, just I have told you why it is wrong, but when the actual paragraph will come, you will know why it is incorrect, obviously. Okay, 15 examples or strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. There is no mention of strategies or examples of some strategies. 16th we have done. 17th, there is no study that links the stress response and performance. So 18th, there is no mention of people and how athletes should perceive their stress response. So B paragraph, we do not have any answer. Now moving on to the C paragraph. Each new demand or change in circumstances affects whether a person responds positively or negatively to the stress. So here they are saying every new demand or change in circumstances, meaning in your situations, it affects whether you are responding positively or negatively to stress, like whether you are handling it elegantly or it is creating chaos in your life. Okay, typically the more resources a person feels they have in handling the situation, the more positive their stress response. So if you think you have enough resources to handle the situation, or to handle that particular stressful situation, you will feel more positive, your response will be positive. Like if you have enough money to deal with some sort of financial issues, so you will not worry, you will say, like, I have money, so I don't need to worry about that. Okay, so these are the resources. This positive stress response is called challenge state. So what this state is called? This positive state is called challenge state. But should the person feel there are too many demands placed on them, the more likely they are to experience a negative stress response. But if you think it's not fair that you have to face so many difficulties, or there are so many problems in your life, what your response will be, you will experience negative stress response. So too many demands, obviously more than a person can handle, known as threat state. So this is called threat state. Research shows that the challenge states leads to good performance while the threat states lead to poorer performance. So these are obviously, so if you are in a challenge state, your results will be good, but if you are in a threat state, your result will be poor. So in Emma's case, a much larger audience, a higher expectations, and facing a more skillful opponent may have all led her to feel there were greater demands placed on her at Wimbledon. So in her case, what happened was, because of all these expectations, all these situations, she felt that the burden on her shoulder is unbearable, but she didn't have the resources to tackle them, and on top of that she felt that she was not adequately equipped, like she didn't have enough resources to handle all the pressure. This led to her experiencing a threat response. So what she did was she experienced a threat response. Hope it is clear. Now again you will have roughly 10 seconds and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. So if you need some more time to figure it out, you can pause the video, and after figuring out the answer, you can resume. Okay, but now if you have figured it out, congratulations. Let's see if you got it right or not. So 14th question. Are there any two compounds, chemical compounds mentioned? No. So it cannot be our answer. 15th. Examples of strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. There is no example of any strategy. Here they are just saying that because Emma felt these kind of things, she dropped out of the competition. She withdrew her name from the competition. Nothing else. There is no strategy to minimize the effects of stress. So 15th cannot be our answer. 17th. Study results indicating links between stress responses and performance. Is there any study or any word related to study in this? Yes, here it is written. Research. So let me just again remove all this. Just guys wait second. Let me remove all this. Okay, here they are saying let me do this. Okay, here let's see, they are saying research. So research obviously is a study. So they are saying that in question indicating links between stress response and performance, like how you perform under stress. So they are saying that research shows that, let me do this again, research shows that the challenge states, basically in which you are positive, leads to good performance while the threat states lead to poorer performance. So challenge state is that when you are feeling positive stress, and if you are feeling negative stress response, you are in threat state. So here there is a research indicating the two stress with the performance. So for 17th our answer option number C. Here question number 17. I hope it is clear. And let's see if 18 is there or not. Mention of people who can influence how athletes perceive their stress response. There is no mention of such people. Hopefully it is clear. Moving on to the next paragraph, D. So what I'll do this because we know this is the name and we will always underline or highlight our name. So in case of paper and pen and paper, underline, circle, whatever you want to do across the names or dates, do that. So if you have to find them in the later sets of questions, you can do that. D paragraph. Our challenge and threat responses essentially influence how our body responds to stressful situations, as both affect the production of adrenaline and cortisol, also known as stress hormones. So here they're saying that our challenge and threat response, like how whatever, if we are facing challenge response or if we are behaving like in we are in threat response, they influence how our body responds, like how our body reacts to these kind of situations, like whether they produce adrenaline or cortisol. So cortisol, they have read, it is also known as stress hormone. Okay. Sorry about that. So the this is mention of these two like hormones in the body. During a challenge state, adrenaline increases the amount of blood pumped from heart and expands the blood vessels, which allows more energy to be delivered to the muscles and brain. So what happens during the challenge state is that adrenaline does this particular thing. So it pumps more blood, okay, and expands the blood vessels because and there is more energy to be delivered for to muscles and brain. This increase of blood and decrease of pressure in the blood vessels has been consistently related to superior sport performance in everything from cricket batting to golf putting and football penalty taking. So they are saying that these are the examples where the effect of this adrenaline is observed. But during a threat state, cortisol inhibits the positive effect of adrenaline, resulting in tighter blood vessels, higher blood pressure, slower psychological responses, and faster heart rate. Obviously, if you are stressed, if your body is releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, it will have obviously negative impact on your body. In short, a threat state makes people more anxious. So, in summary, they're saying that you will become anxious. They make worse decisions and perform more poorly. In tennis players, cortisol has been associated with more unsuccessful serves and greater anxiety. So, in tennis, so they have observed in players they are doing this. They are like serving more. They have more unsuccessful serves and they have greater anxiety. Okay, now you know our drill. You will have 10 seconds or so. Now time starts now. Find out the answer from these questions. Okay, time's up. So if you need more time, pause the video and after finding the answer you can resume and see if you got it right or not. And in the meanwhile, we'll continue. Now 14th question. Reference to two chemical compounds which impact on performance. Is this or can this be our answer? Is there mention of two chemical compounds? So yes, there is mention of two chemical compounds. So two chemical compounds are mentioned, adrenaline and cortisol. So these are chemical compounds, though produced in our body, they are from a reaction. So let me just first write it here. This is our answer D. And let me write it here and then we will see number 14. Okay, now let's see which impact on performance. So here they have related these chemicals to the performance. So if there is in your challenge state, meaning to say if your body is releasing adrenaline, so you will have better performance. If your body is releasing cortisols, you will go for poor performance, you will deliver poorly. So it is impacting on your performance. I hope it is clear. Let's see 15 examples or strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. Is there any example given here or examples of strategies? No. 16th and 17th, it's they are done. Now 18th, mention of people who can, no, there is no mention of any people. Okay, so 14th is our answer in paragraph D. Okay, now let's see E and F. Two paragraphs are left and we have two questions left. Let's see E paragraph. That said, anxiety is also a common experience for athletes when they are under pressure. So now they are linking anxiety to athletes when they are under pressure. Anxiety can increase heart rate and perspiration, cause heart palpitations. Sorry about that. Palpitations, muscle tremors, and shortness of breath, as well as headaches, nausea, stomach pain, weakness, and a desire to escape in more extreme cases. So they are just telling about what anxiety can do to you. Okay, anxiety can also reduce concentration and self control and cause overthinking. So anxiety can also do this to you. It can lower your concentration levels, it can lower your self control, and it can cause you to overthink. So if you are overthinking too much, obviously you are anxious. The intensity with which a person experiences anxiety depends on demands and resources. So these two are, again, we have already read that these two are the factors of anxiety. So because of these two, we experience anxiety. How we experience anxiety? Anxiety may also manifest itself in the form of excitement or nervousness depending on the stress response. So if under stress you get nervous or you get too excited, but it's sort of a false excitement, but you are too anxious for that, it's your way of coping with that particular stress response. Okay, negative stress responses can be damaging to both physical and mental health. So obviously negative is like problematic for both physical and mental health, and repeated episodes of anxiety coupled with negative responses can increase risk of heart disease and depression. And here they are saying that if you are in depression, or sorry, if you are anxious repeatedly, and if you have negative response to that particular situation, and you are facing too many negative situations throughout your daily routine or regularly, often it's the case with you, you are facing stress, negative stress response, it can increase the risk of heart disease. So people can suffer from heart attacks or other heart ailments, and you may suffer from depression. Okay, so you have 10 seconds or so to tell me whether 16 or 18, either or, sorry, 15 or 18, or either of two or both are in this particular paragraph or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. So if you need more time, pause the video and then continue. So 15th question, examples of strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. Are there any examples of strategies, like what should we do when we are stressed so that we can minimize it? No, there is no example given, or sorry, there is no strategy given uh, of that particular sort. So 15th cannot be our answer. 18th, mention of people who can influence how athletes perceive their stress. Drum roll, please. No. Again, there is no mention of any person or any group of people or any two or three people or anything like that influence how we perceive or how athletes perceive their stress response. There is mention of athletes and anxiety or under stress, under pressure, but there is no mention of someone or people who can influence how they view stress, their response to their stress, positive, negative, whatever it may be, there is no mention of that. So obviously if we are confident enough, we can easily mark this as F and this as F. But what will we do is, okay, first we will do is we will mark it, because we are confident that whatever we have read previously, we have read it thoroughly and we are sure what we have read is correct. So these two questions will be F, the answer will be option F, but we will read the paragraph and then we will see where the information is given. Okay, now F paragraph. But there are many ways athletes can ensure they respond positively under pressure. So here they are saying that there are sorry, there are lot of ways in which athletes can make sure that they are like they respond positively under pressure, like they don't fold. Okay, basically they respond positively. Positive stress responses can be promoted through the language that they and others, such as coaches or parents, use. So, how they can do this? Positive stress responses, they can be it can be promoted. These responses can be promoted by the language or use of language that they or people they know, like their coaches or their parents, use. So, we should talk according to that. Psychologists can also help athletes change how they see their psychological responses, such as helping them see a higher heart rate as excitement rather than nerves. So, what can psychologists do? That they can do is like they can change how athletes see or their responses. Like if their heartbeat is like high, instead of thinking they are nervous, it should they should link them to excitement, their high heartbeat to excitement. Developing psychological skills such as visualization can also help decrease psychological responses to threat. So, what you should do is you should visualize. So, what it involves, visualization may involve the athlete recreating a mental picture of a time when they performed well, or picturing themselves doing well in the future. So what should they do is, instead of getting nervous and all worked up, they should make visualize in their heads that uh, about a time when they performed well, like when they won the first prize, or about them performing well in the future, like becoming champion or things like that. This can help create a feeling of control over the stressful event. So it can help you to be like feel that you are in control of the situation. Recreating competitive pressure during training can also help athletes learn how to deal with stress. So while training, what coaches or what you can do is you can recreate that pressure of competition, that competitive pressure. So in your training session should be more intense. It should be more competitive. An example of this might be scoring athletes against their peers to create a sense of competition. Like, for example, if you're playing football and there are like 11 players in your team, so what you can do is you can make teams of those 11 of your first 11 choice players, okay, first team players, and play against each other. So it can have some sort of competitive environment. This would increase the demands which players experience compared to normal training sessions, which still while still allowing them to practice coping with stress. So it will help them to do this. So now you have again 10 seconds. Tell me, we know 15th and 18th they are in F, but where are they in F? So you have 10 seconds to tell me the location, the sentences which will be our location, and your time starts now. Time's up. So let's see 15th question. Examples of strategies for minimizing the effects of stress. So we have to see what strategies they use to minimize the effect of stress. So from here, developing a psychological skills such as visualization, and to all the way here, This is our question 15. These are our examples of the strategy. So if you have told this particular location, congratulations, your answer is correct. And now 18th, mention of people who can influence how athletes perceive stress responses. Basically, here is the mention of people where, okay, coaches and parents and psychologists. And here is the mention of our question number 18. Okay. I hope it is clear. I hope there is no doubt in your mind till now. Quite easy, right? So if you do like this, your mind will not be overwhelmed, it will not get confused, and you will be able to understand each and everything easily. Now, moving on to the next set of questions, 19 to 22. So we have to write one word only. So it's very important to know. Let me change the color. Okay, now 19th question. Performance stress involves many demands on athlete. For example, coping with the possible risk of something. So we have to find where was performance stress. So performance stress, what it involves many demands on the athlete. So it demands a lot of things from athletes. So one of the demand is coping with. So coping is, okay, you know this particular word. Possible risk of, so there is risk of something. So there is risk of possible risk of failure, or possible risk of underachieving, something like that. Let's see what kind of risk we are talking about. Performance stress. So let's see, was there any performance stress in paragraph number A? There is no performance stress here. There is just about Emma. Okay, there is no mention of performance stress in A, B. Okay, here is performance stress. For athletes, let's see what kind of risk we are coping with. Possibility of what kind of risk is there is almost unavoidable, but there are many different factors that dictate how people's mind and bodies respond to stressful events. Typically, stress is the result of exchange between two factors. An athlete may feel stressed about an event if they feel the demands are greater than they can handle. These demands include high level of physical and mental effort required to succeed, and also athletes concerned about difficulty of the event and chances of succeeding, and any potential danger such as injury. Okay, obviously our answer is in like this particular, let me do this. Okay, our answer is in from here to here. Now, you will have 5 seconds to tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let me write the answer here and let's see if you got it right or not. And if you don't worry, I will tell you why this is our sorry, why this is our answer. And our answer to this is injury. And where it was here. Let me write here question number 19. Okay, now let's see why this is our answer. So here they are saying it involves many demands on athletes. So they are saying, so here is performance stress. So many demands, here they have said different factors. So for many demands, sorry about that. So for many demands, they have written different factors. Okay, and here they are saying for example, and instead of for example here they have said such as. So here it is written for example, here it is written such as. Coping with the possible risk of, so here they have just said possible dangers. So possible potential risk of basically dangers. So there is a risk of or danger of getting yourself injured. Okay, so injury is our answer. Moving on to the next question, 20th, cortisol. So if you remember, we have read this word in which paragraph? Yes, we have read this word in D paragraph. Here it is, cortisol. So cortisol can cause tennis players to produce fewer good dash. So where it was tennis players, yes, we have obviously marked it, so our answer should be in this particular sentence. And again you will have 5 seconds to tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up, and let I will write the answer here and see if you figured it out correctly or not. Sorry about that. And our answer is serves. So here is our answer. First, let me do this. Okay, this is our question number 20th. Now, many of you will be confused how fewer good serves can be our answer. So because here they are saying because of cortisol, these tennis players produce fewer good. So, meaning to say, whatever good they are producing, it's fewer in number. Like it's not like high in numbers, it's fewer in numbers. And they are saying that more unsuccessful serves. So if something is more unsuccessful, so if someone is like if someone is saying to someone you have more unsuccessful whatever ventures or more unsuccessful experiments, if you have done more unsuccessful experiments, so it means the number of successful experiments is fewer, the number is fewer of successful. So if there are like just let's take an analogy. For example take 100, so it's quite easy to understand number. So if I talk about more, or if I talk about like if the number is 51, so it's obviously more than 49. Okay, so let's say if someone has 51 unsuccessful on something, okay, 51 unsuccessful matches. So if a team has 51 unsuccessful matches, and obviously it means they have 49 successful matches. So but which is more, 51 or 49? Obviously 51. So if they have let's see here in the paragraph here, more unsuccessful matches, so obviously they have fewer good matches. So that's why more unsuccessful is just same as fewer good something. I hope it is clear. So it's quite paraphrased, you can say. So some students may find it confusing how it can be the answer, and I hope it is clear. If not, you can like rewind this and listen back again the way I am explaining it. So you will be the doubts will be clear. Okay, 21st. Moving on to this, psychologist can help. So we have read about psychologists also. Psychologist can help athletes to view their psychological responses as the effect of a positive feeling such as. So I who don't think so you will need a lot of time for this. So where we have read about psychologists, yes. In which paragraph? Yes, F paragraph. Here it is. Psychologist. Okay. Now you will have 5 seconds to tell me the answer, and your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. And your answer to this question is excitement. I hope you got it. Okay, sorry about that. I hope you got it correct. Now, so here I'll tell you why it's excitement. So here they're saying psychologists can help athletes change how they see. So here they have written see, and here they have written, let me just do this, they have written view, their psychological responses, as effect of a positive feeling. So helping them see the higher rate as excitement. So this is our positive feeling, and rather than nerves, and nerves is our negative feeling. I hope it is clear. So what I will do is, just give me 1 second, guys. Let me write this. Question number 21. Moving on to question number 22. Dash is an example. So we have to find something which is an example of psychological technique. So obviously what we have to write is the name of the technique, okay, that is used to reduce athletes stress response. So sorry about that. So we have to write the name of the technique that is used to reduce athletes stress response. So let's see. Developing psychological skills such as visualization can help decrease psychological response to threat. So psychological techniques. So obviously our answer should be here or not. Yes, it should be here, and let me do this. Our answer should be from here to, let's just say, here. So you have about 7 seconds to tell me the answer. I will not read entirely because it's quite easy to find this particular blank, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. And your answer to this question should be visualization. Here it is. Okay, what happened here? I hope it is clear. It's quite self-explanatory. So we have to write the name of the technique. So here they are saying psychological skills, or basically skills is same as techniques. So what I will do is, I will do this. So they are developing psychological techniques, psychological skills such as this. This is the name of this skill that can decrease psychological responses to threat. So athletes stress responses, because this is the threat response, obviously it is because of stress. So we are doing for athletes. So here they are saying athletes. Okay, hope it is clear. Moving on to the next question set, question 23 and 24. So here we have to choose two. Okay, we have to write two letters. So question is saying, which two facts about Emma Raducanu's withdrawal from Wimbledon? So we know in the first paragraph, from the first paragraph, she withdrew her name from the Wimbledon tournament are mentioned in the text. So which two facts are mentioned? First, the stage at which she dropped out of the tournament. So are they telling about the so the fact is that they're telling about the stage at which she dropped out of the tournament, or they're talking about the symptoms of a performance stress? So what is the symptom, or what are the symptoms, or what were the symptoms in the tournament of her performance stress? C, measures which she had taken to manage stress. So methods she took to manage stress levels. D, aspects of Wimbledon tournament which increased her stress levels. Something about the tournament, okay, that increased her stress levels. E, reactions to her social media post. So about social media post, reaction about her experience at Wimbledon, like how people, sorry, how people reacted to her social media post. Just 1 second, guys. What happened to this? Okay, let's see. We know it's her name is, her name comes up two places, like here Emma this, and this here. So this is something that British tennis player Emma wrote about on social media following her withdrawal from 2021 Wimbledon tournament. Though the young player had been doing well in the tournament, she began having difficulty regulating her breathing and heart rate during a match, which she later attributed to the accumulation of excitement and the buzz. So she is saying that during a match she felt these kind of emotion because of the accumulation of excitement and buzz. So A option, the stage at which, okay, there is no mention of the stage, like here the stage refers to the stage in at which she was in the tournament, like was she in the like group stage, quarterfinals, semi-finals, whatever stage it is, like there is no mention of that particular stage at which she dropped, but there is just mention of a match. Okay, so there is just mention of the match but not the mention of a stage. Symptoms of a performance at the tournament. Okay, are, is this the answer, or sorry, can this be the answer? Is there any symptoms mentioned of her performance stress? Yes. What were the symptoms? Her difficulty in regulating her breathing and her heart rate during a match at the tournament. So obviously this is our answer. Let me write here question number 23, 24. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, and now we have to read the second. Okay, piece of information here. So in Emma's case, a much larger audience, higher expectation, and facing a more skillful opponent may all have led her to feel there were greater demands being placed on her at Wimbledon, but she didn't have the resources. So here, what she believed that because of this particular thing, higher expectations, opponent was more skillful, and demands were greater on her at Wimbledon. So in this tournament all these things they accumulated and put pressure on her. So obviously this should be one of our answers. So let me write the question number here already. So C, measures which she had taken, there is no mention how she managed her stress. D, aspects of the Wimbledon tournament which increased her stress levels. Is there any mention of the aspects of the Wimbledon tournament? Yes, there are the mention of her. Yes, there are the mention of those aspects. Okay, let me do this. Okay, there are the mention of those aspects. What is this? Okay, there is the mention of these aspects: more skillful opponent, greater demands on her at Wimbledon. Okay, higher expectations. So these were the aspects of Wimbledon tournament. So here is the name of Wimbledon. So now what I will do is I will tell you. So A cannot be our answer because we don't know the stage. So C, there is no mention of how she managed her stress. E, there it cannot be our answer, but there was mention of social media. Okay, here there is mention of social media, but why it cannot be our answer? Because the option is saying that reactions to her social media post, but there is no mention of how people reacted on her social media post. Like did they react in a positive way or did they mock her? We don't know about that, so E cannot be our answer. Hope it is clear. Moving on to the last two questions. Which two facts about anxiety are mentioned in paragraph E? So it's quite easy. So they have already told us the location. We have to read the paragraph E. Here it is. So first we will write the options because we have read the paragraph already. So we will read the options and then we will see paragraph which options are best suitable. The factors which determine how severe it may be. So we have to find facts about anxiety. So the factors that determine how severe it may be. How severe it may be, meaning to say how powerful your anxiety attacks may be. The factors, these factors or some factors that are mentioned will determine. So if these are the factors, it will be like more severe. If these are the factors, it will be less severe. I don't think so. If that is mentioned or not, let's see. Maybe they are mentioned. There are some factors. Yes, there are some factors, but let's read the option till right now. B. How long it takes for its effects to become apparent. So the time period should be mentioned, like after 10 minutes or after 20 minutes or 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever the time period is. Some time period will be mentioned. C. Which of its symptoms is most frequently encountered? So there should be mention of some symptom which is most frequently encountered, and we have to tell which symptom. So if there is mention of any symptom which is like more often people see that or observe that symptom, we will say C option is our answer. D. The types of athletes who are most likely to suffer from it. uh, like right from the bat I can say this cannot be our answer because as far as I can remember, there is no category of mention of category of athletes. Like there is no category of athlete mentioned here. So type of athlete, so right off the bat I believe this is not the answer. E. The harm that can result if athletes experience it too often. So the harmful thing that can result if the athletes experience something too often, like regularly on a fairly regular basis. If athletes experience anxiety often, what harm it can cause. If there is mention of that, we will say E option. Okay, now we'll read the E option. That said, anxiety is also a common experience for athletes when they are under pressure. Anxiety can increase heart rate and perspiration, cause heart palpitations, muscle tremors, and shortness of breath, as well as headaches, nausea, stomach pain, weakness, and a desire to escape in more extreme cases. Okay, here, from here to here, do you think there is mention of the factors that determine how severe it may be? There is no mention of the factors that determine how severe. There is just say what anxiety can do to a human. There is no mention of like how or when anxiety will be severe or when it will not be so severe. How long? There is no mention of any time period. There is no mention of more frequently encountered any symptoms or like that. No types of athlete is mentioned. and neither is mention of too often or not. So anxiety can also reduce concentration and self control and cause overthinking. The intensity with which a person experiences anxiety depends on the demands and resources they have. So from here to here, do you think we have any answer here? So I will give you 5 seconds to tell me if there is any answer here. Okay, time's up. Yes, we have one answer here, but again, you have some more time now. Let me write the question number here. Till then, you have time to figure it out. And if you have figured it out, congratulations. Our answer to from this we can easily say A option. So here they have mentioned the factors that determine how severe our anxiety can be. So here they have said the intensity with which a person experiences anxiety. The intensity here just refers to the severity of the anxiety attacks. Depends on these two factors, demands and resources. So these are the two factors on which the intensity of an anxiety attack depends. Okay, next, anxiety may also manifest itself in the form of excitement or okay, anxiety may also manifest itself in the form of excitement or nervousness depending on stress response. Negative stress responses can be damaging to both physical and mental health, and repeated episodes of anxiety coupled with negative responses can increase risk of heart disease and depression. Okay, from here to here, which option should be our answer? You will have about 10 seconds to figure it out, and time starts now. Okay, time's up. If you need more time, pause the video, but we'll continue. And our answer should be option D. E, sorry. And this is our location. Just let me write the questions number here. I will tell you why this is our location. Okay, so let's see. So here they are saying the harm that can result if athletes experience it too often. So here they have said where they are repeated episodes. So repeated episodes meaning to say experiencing something too often on a fairly regular basis. So what is the harm it can cause? These are the harms: heart disease and depression. So these are the harm that repeated episodes of anxiety can cause to athletes. Okay, so B option cannot be our answer. Sorry about that. B option because there is no mention of the time period. C, there is no mention of or out of these symptoms which symptom is more frequently encountered or most frequently encountered. They have said if you encountered repeated episodes of anxiety, but which symptom will like more often than not come out first, we don't know about that. D, there is no mention of any category of athletes. So D cannot be our answer. I hope it is clear. So this is how you should solve your reading. If you can solve the reading like two or all sets simultaneously, like in the first paragraph when you read this particular name Emma, so if you have read the all the questions, first questions beforehand, you will know this is the name of Emma here, so you can do this simultaneously. But if that is difficult for you, it will like you will get distracted if you do like this. There is no need to do like this. You can do the way I have told you right now. Both are perfectly fine. There is no one correct way. You should do the way which works for you the best. if you're practicing, if you are like beginning your journey, or if you're trying to improve your reading, for in the beginning, do it like in practice both ways, and then stick to the way which works for you the best. Okay, then practice it as much as possible, so that in exam you do not have to worry which way you should choose or which way you should not choose. So you should do it like the way you have practiced in the exam. Okay, so if you want our help, I'm gonna leave all the information of us in the description box. You can read the description box and contact us on our website. I'm gonna leave all the links in the description box. You can also buy our video course from there. It has had numerous students, and you can be one of our success stories. If you want, if you are struggling to get band 7 in your writing and or speaking, we will be happy to help you. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.